Second Ezra 15:15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and the Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Barachakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who teach well and rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. GMS Arkansas, come with this lesson. Second Ezra 15:15. And the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hand. And you see this rumor prophecy playing out with Esau going against Esau right now over in the Soviet bloc. You got Ukraine and Russia having their little turmoil, but it's all part of a bigger scheme because the Heavenly Father has Babylon supplying Ukraine with certain defense systems to try to fight against the Russians. We know Russia in the scriptures is going to be prophetic that they're going to destroy America. So we see how this thing is playing out. And Russia has got to the point where it's drafting people. And you got a lot of people, when they hear Mother Russia calling for them to come do duty, some are down with it, but you got a lot of them from the poor countries are not. Because the poor side of Russia, where the people are more peasant, they are saying the government is come getting more of their men than where the Russians that are I guess wealthy off to do. They saying more, they get more of the people that's from the poor side of Russia. And they not agreeing with it and they're protesting. Okay? But we all know that these kind of things happen in these other countries. We must be watchful and mindful and circumspect because soon they come to America. This is part of the ultimate plan of the Heavenly Father. Okay?
Resistance is growing inside Russia against the war in Ukraine. Hundreds of people have been arrested now in protests against the new military draft, and thousands of others are actually fleeing the country. The U.S. is warning of catastrophic consequences for Russia if they use nukes in this conflict. And our foreign correspondent Tom Sufi-Burridge is there with the latest from Ukraine.
A sense of crisis brewing for the Kremlin, anger spilling over towards Russia's new military draft, with Putin's war in Ukraine failing. Protesters facing down the police in the Russian Republic of Dagestan. Police officers firing warning shots in the air, attempting to disperse an angry crowd. Women outraged their men are being drafted, questioning the police what the war is for. The chaos in Dagestan clear in these videos circulating online. And in St. Petersburg, officers seen kicking a protester in the head. Human rights activists saying more than 2,300 people have been arrested in 35 cities across Russia in recent days. Long lines at Russia's border with Georgia as huge numbers of Russian men flee the country to avoid the draft. And with Putin increasingly in a corner, the US vowing to respond if Russia uses nuclear weapons in Ukraine.
We have communicated directly, privately to the Russians at very high levels that there will be catastrophic consequences for Russia if they use nuclear weapons in Ukraine.
Now, they're saying if they use them in Ukraine, who knows? The Heavenly Father could have, he could have them use them because the king's heart is in the mind of the Heavenly Father. He could put the spirit on them to use them, okay, to get the bigger war kicked out. But you see those people that protested and going to the streets. That's verse 16. For there shall be a sedition among men and an invading of one another, and have no regard for their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. These people are they're protesting because they don't want to go to war. But see, Esau always act like he's so tough, but yet you got, when war comes, you got people, y'all running. Y'all scared, but yet you on Street Fighter, Call of Duty and all those type of things, killing folks, talking shit, 20 or 30 of you together, you'll jump a Jake and kill him. But yeah, you won't go to war. Okay? Sedition is a rebellion, uprising, or revolt, concerted attempt to overthrow civil authority, violent strife between factions, a civil or religious disorder, riot, rebelliousness against authority, and they're rebelling against their authority because they're trying to send them to war. Okay, once they send them to war, guess what? Ain't gonna be no men left in the household. You know? Then if they die, shit, then you got widows that's left. You got fatherless and all that. Okay? What it says here, Second Ezra 16. Let's see here, 32. And the virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Because these women, certain women, their daughters' husbands are going. If they husbands get killed, they won't have no helper. You know. And it says, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So a lot of death is going to come through these so-called wars. Most High says he's getting ready to visit the earth that he made. Okay, he's punishing everybody. Ain't nobody past getting punished by the Heavenly Father, man. Okay? Nobody's past that punishment.
Meanwhile, Russia preparing to annex parts of Ukraine which are occupied by its troops, staging referendum votes there. But Ukrainians who fled those regions protesting in Kiev, calling the referendums a sham. Yana Kushova from Mariupol, a city destroyed and occupied by the Russians. We are Ukrainians, she says, and we want to live on our Ukrainian land in our hometown.
Tom joining me now live.
Yeah, man, that's what it is, man. The Most High is stirring it up. He's bringing the players into their position. Because when you read Russia, it's going to be the main one who's going to bring that pain. Okay? Let me type in this before I go. See if I can find something on this. Land of the North. Shall come. Jeremiah 1:14, it says, Then the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua said unto me, Out of the north an evil shall break forth upon all the inhabitants of the land out of the north. Okay, it's talking about Russia. Okay, it's talking about Russia right there. Let's see if there's any more. Land of the North. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, waters rise up out of the north, and shall be overflowing flood, and shall overflow the land, and all that therein, the cities, and they that dwell therein. And then the men shall cry, and all the inhabitants of the land shall howl. And that's when the time of this thermonuclear destruction. Okay? When you look at water, when it comes through a land, it bears down on everything. It goes over everything that's in the way. Okay? Back once again, out of the north, the Medes, man, the Russians. Okay? So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying to the election. Call Allah La Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Hashem or Kakudash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, salutations to the hopeful elect. GMS Arkansas, till the next time, Shalom.